Welcome back, my students, to a brand new episode of Comic Class. And in today's lesson, guys, we're going to be looking at the Amazing Spider-Man issue 11. And yeah, this is the return of Dr. Octopus to the story. And yeah, this should be a really interesting video. So without further ado, let's jump right into today's story. Let's go. So this story starts off with a flashback of Dr. Octopus's and Spider-Man's last encounter. And yeah, we also get to see that Spider-Man's working on a new type of, I think it's like a tracking device. And it turns out that Dr. Octopus actually gets out of prison on good behavior. And he's actually, it seems, meeting up with Betty Brant. She's driving him somewhere. So Spider-Man uses his, I guess, spider tracer to find out where they're heading towards. And this is where we get revealed to Betty Brant's brother, and he's like a type of lawyer that's dealing with a criminal called Blackie. And yeah, so we get to see Betty Brant and her brother interact with Dr. Octopus, basically telling her brother that he understands what he is. That this guy called Bennett, Betty Brant's brother, is just like a coward, basically can never really stand up for himself and got himself in some bad company. And yeah, so Betty Brant is out in the town whenever she gets confronted by Peter Parker, and he basically tells her that he's here to support her and that he wasn't, super mad at her for what she did, kind of ghosting him the last few days or weeks. And yeah, we get to see that Dr. Octopus goes and frees Blackie out of his prison cell, and they're going to start working together again. And we see that they kind of have like a deal in place, for Dr. Octopus to get paid. The Spider-Man arrives at the place that Betty Brant, Bennett, Blackie, and Dr. Octopus, as well as Blackie's henchmen are at, and Spider-Man gets in a battle with all of these people. Eventually, him and Blackie get into a type of fight, and Blackie has a gun in his hand, and he accidentally shoots Bennett during him and Spider-Man's fight. And Bennett basically gets killed, and Betty kind of blames Spider-Man for, getting Bennett killed. So Spider-Man is kind of like in a rage, and he, grabs Blackie and basically, tells him that he's going to take him out and he's going to put him back in prison. And Dr. Octopus and Spider-Man get into a confrontation because Dr. Octopus wants revenge for Spider-Man putting him in jail in, their last encounter. And the fight is pretty interesting, with Spider-Man having a fight against Dr. Octopus's new improved tentacle arms. And the fight is pretty interesting, and we get to see Spider-Man, have to outwit Dr. Octopus. He's just too strong still. And him and Spider-Man basically are just fighting each other, they're fighting each other on this boat. And eventually the police show up, and Spider-Man knocks Dr. Octopus, I guess, off the boat, as well as himself, whenever the boat crashes into one of the piers, I think, or like some type of like wooden things that are holding, I guess, the bridge. And yeah, Spider-Man, makes his escape so the police don't try to capture him. And we also get to see that Betty is basically, crying because Bennett's dead. And Blackie is going back to jail. So Spider-Man has saved the day, but Dr. Octopus has gotten away. So we get to see Spider-Man, kind of like thinking about everything that went down with his battle with Dr. Octopus, Blackie, and his henchmen. And he goes and confronts, and comforts Betty Brant. And he realizes, because she basically tells him that she doesn't blame Spider-Man, that she was kind of talking out of anger and loss for her brother, and that she kind of forgives Spider-Man, but she just can't bear to look at him because, it would just remind her of Bennett, dying because of Blackie and Spider-Man's fight. And, Blackie basically killed him. So Spider-Man and, Peter Parker basically says there's no way you can tell Betty Brant about his secret identity because she won't ever want to see him again. It would just be too hard for her because of these memories. And Spider-Man walks out into, the night once again, like he does in a lot of these issues, these early issues of Spider-Man in his run. And that's how the story ends, with Peter just realizing that, there's people that might die when he gets into these fights and these battles with his super villains. And yeah, it's just crazy, and I'm glad that we're seeing that there are consequences to Peter's actions and his fights that he gets into for his loved ones. And yeah, that was the Amazing Spider-Man issue 11, The Return of Dr. Octopus. Just a real quick video, guys. There wasn't a lot to talk about. It's mainly just, having to do with tying up loose plot threads from previous issues. And it looks like Peter and Betty Brant are still going to be together, at least for a couple more issues. And we'll see how that relationship, either succeeds or, doesn't succeed in the future issues. And we definitely will see Dr. Octopus in the next issue as well, because his story isn't done yet. As we saw in this issue, he did get away. So we will deal with the, that aftermath for this issue in the next video. But if you enjoyed this video, guys, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of issue 11. And what do you think of Dr. Octopus as a villain? Do you think he really is Spider-Man's most strongest enemy, at least at this point in the comic? And yeah, at least at this point in the comic run. And yeah, until next video, guys, God bless you. Until next lesson, keep on reading those comments.
I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out. My future needed clarity.